try not to tear up, because today we're opening a box of memories that will hit your heart in one go. If you love the slingshot, the striped shirt, the eye-rolling neighbor, and the warm family at the center of it all, stay with me till the end. I'll share the saddest goodbyes from the cast, the legacies they left behind, and a gentle tribute that brings their smiles back for a moment. Take a deep breath, press play to the end, and let's honor them together. Dennis the Menace was more than a TV show. It felt like a real street with a real kid next door, a house that smelled of cookies, and a grumpy neighbor who cared more than he let on. Decades later, we still hear that front yard laughter. We still see the spilled paint, the broken window, the quick apology, and the hug that fixes everything. The actors who built that world gave us simple joy. Now, we remember them with the same care they gave us. Let's begin with the boy who carried the show on his small shoulders. Jay North brought Dennis Mitchell to life with that tousled hair, bright grin, and brave heart. He made trouble feel harmless and kindness feel cool. Life after fame wasn't easy for him, but he turned pain into purpose by supporting young performers and speaking up for child actors. Jay passed away on April 6, 2025, at 73 after a battle with colon cancer. He leaves a legacy of courage, honesty, and the laughter of a nation for many of us. The soul of the neighborhood was Mr. Wilson, the man who said no with a frown and yes with his heart. Joseph Kearns played George Wilson with perfect timing, exasperated one second, soft the next. He left the series and the world far too soon, dying on February 17, 1962, after a brain hemorrhage that struck days earlier. The set felt different without him, and so did our living rooms. Yet whenever Dennis learned a lesson, we could still feel Mr. Wilson's quiet pride. After that loss, a new rhythm arrived. Gail Gordon stepped in as John Wilson, George's brother, bringing a slow burn that made every raised eyebrow a laugh line. He was firm, funny, and strangely comforting, the perfect match for a child whirlwind next door. Beyond this show, he was a pillar of American comedy for decades. Gail Gordon died on June 30, 1995, from cancer, but the warmth behind his bluster still reaches us in every rerun. Before either of those men, the street glowed because of Martha Wilson. Sylvia Field played her with soft eyes and a steady smile, a neighbor who always had time, even when the day was noisy and long. She brought calm to the chaos and gentleness to the jokes. Sylvia passed away on July 31, 1998, at 97. When we think of the folks next door, we picture her first, kind, tidy, and always ready with a plate for a hungry kid. In the show's final season, Grace met welcome change. Sarah Seeger stepped in as Eloise Wilson and carried the Wilson home with elegance and poise. She didn't try to copy what came before. She gave us a new warmth that fit the street like it had always been there. Sarah died on August 12, 1990, at 76, after a brain hemorrhage. Her work reminds us that a gentle presence can hold a whole story together. Back inside the Mitchell home, Henry was the kind of TV dad who says, "Let's talk," instead of "Go to your room." Herbert Anderson played him with patience and a half smile that said, "I get it, son." He made fatherhood feel wise, loving, and human. Herbert died on June 11, 1994, at 77. Will we see a good TV dad today? We're seeing a line that leads straight back to him. Beside him stood a mother who could stop trouble with a look and start healing with a hug. Gloria Henry's Alice Mitchell was calm, fair, and always hopeful that tomorrow would be a better day. On screen, she turned mess into meaning. Off screen, she lived a long, full life in and beyond the arts. Gloria passed away on April 3, 2021, at 98, and her gentle voice still seems to float through that sunny living room. Every great neighborhood has one person who could steal a scene with a single line. Mary Wicks did that again and again as Miss Cathcart, the spirited voice who gave every block party a spark. With her sharp wit and musical mischief, she was impossible to ignore and easy to love. Mary died on October 22, 1995, after complications from hip surgery. Her timing was a masterclass, and her laughter still lifts the corners of our mouths. Dennis never caused trouble alone. He had a best pal, Billy Booth, who played Tommy Anderson, brought real kid energy, the giggles, the fear, the dares, and the let's do it anyway. Later, he left acting and built a respected career in law, proving child stars can write new chapters on their own terms. Billy died on December 31, 2006. We remember the friend who stood at Dennis's side, ready for the next backyard adventure. And sometimes The show welcomed familiar faces whose careers stretched far beyond one street. Richard Deacon made guests feel like old friends, with a face that could go from stern to sweet in a second. He was the kind of actor who stitched scenes together. He died on August 8, 1984, but his body of work across film and TV keeps showing us how much life there is in the small beats between jokes. When you line up these goodbyes, a picture forms, a neighborhood that taught us patience, a family that taught us care, and a child who taught us how to say sorry and try again. The show's humor was simple, but its heart was deep. It said, you can make a mess and still be loved. It said, adults can be grumpy and still be kind. It said, family is where we learn to do better next time. That's why these losses feel personal. They shape the way we see home. Think of a day from your childhood that felt golden for no reason. Maybe it was a Saturday morning when the house was quiet, the cereal was sweet, and the TV felt like a friend. Dennis the Menace sat in that sweet spot. You didn't need big plots. You needed a neighbor with a newspaper, a kid with a plan, and a lesson that landed with a smile. The actors we honored today made that magic look easy. We know it wasn't. That's why we thank them. If your favorite episode is playing in your mind right now, hold it a second longer. Hear Dennis say it wasn't his fault. Hear Mr. Wilson pretend not to care. Hear the last line of the day when everyone laughs because home is safe again. These performances still live because they felt true. They felt like us, flawed, noisy, but always trying to love each other better. Stay with me for one last tribute. Close your eyes and picture the Mitchell's front yard at sunset. The lawn is neat. The air is soft. A small boy runs past with a promise to behave. Across the hedge, a neighbor tries not to smile and fails. A door closes. The porch light clicks on, and the night is easy. For Jay North, Joseph Kearns, Gail Gordon, Sylvia Field, Sarah Seeger, Herbert Anderson, Gloria Henry, Mary Wicks, Billy Booth, Richard Deacon, and every hand and heart that built that street, thank you. You gave us simple stories that still heal after all these years. If this tribute brought back a memory, tell me which actor you miss most and which moment always makes you smile. Please watch till the last second, then like the video. Share it with someone who watched these shows with you, and subscribe so you don't miss our next classic TV remembrance. For now, let's leave the street as we found it, quiet, warm, and ready for one more laugh tomorrow.